Hi, Megan.
Hey, Devon.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Hockey Style. How was your week?
It was good. I'm excited to bring everybody the first period.
Me too. This is one of my favorite episodes that we have done to date.
Oh, yes.
So I will tease out who our special guest is by saying, Happy Goalie Day, Megan.
Mm.
Happy
Yeah.
Fine Leather Good Day.
There we go.
Yes. And also, happy first game one of the Stanley Cup Finals.
We're here. It's happening.
It's here. I don't know if we should say happy. It's not exactly the way you and I were anticipating the final four to go down. But
No, that's
go
okay.
USA, I guess.
That's
Go
okay.
Florida.
Go USA.
Go Bob.
Yay.
I can definitely root for Bobrovsky.
You can do that. Yeah. I don't
Mhm.
think there's anybody that I have any affinity for that I can be like, oh, yay. I really
Wallman.
don't. What do you mean?
I will say go. I mean, I'd
No,
like to see Florida win, but if it
no,
doesn't happen, I can at least feel good that Jake
mm-mm,
Wallman got a Stanley
no.
Cup.
It's too, sorry,
No.
Canada. No.
Did you see the really cute thing he did though on social media this week at
I did,
Walmart
but
or Meijer
ugh.
or someplace? Yeah. So for our listeners who didn't see it, it's hilarious. So Jake Wallman is in some sort of shopping center. I think it was Walmart, they said, and was looking at hockey cards. And some children were also looking at hockey cards. So he walked over, introduced himself. Hi, I'm Jake Wallman, and bought them all a box of hockey cards. Like, so
Very
sweet.
sweet.
Yeah. So we can be happy for him, but also go Bobrovsky.
No, yeah, I can't. I mean, that's not enough for me to let the cup go to Canada. He's great,
Hmm.
but that's not enough.
Well, it's a very contentious in Detroit, I think, who is cheering for whom. I just had a conference call at work and I wrapped it up and just said, Go Panthers. And there was probably 20 people on the phone and there were cheers and groans in equal proportion. I think
But there
some
are people
people,
from Canada.
well, we don't actually, yes, there are a few
There
people
you go.
who live in Windsor, but I think it was also like just fans of the legends, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, like giving them an opportunity to
Yeah, sure.
actually get a Stanley Cup. So I think like since we don't have a horse in the race, there's a lot on either side. I guess you can make a case, but we'll say go
Yes.
Panthers.
Okay.
Which leads us to probably explain to our listeners why things are our format's a little bit different moving forward. We decided so that we could talk with all of you in real time about what's happening in the world of hockey. We would record our first periods right before we launch the episode. So hopefully we will know tomorrow. You'll see this, and we'll know the outcome of game one, and
Yeah.
we'll just flash back to our last recording when we introduced our special guests for the second period,
Yeah.
which wasn't all that long ago, but
No, but
in
still,
the world of hockey, things happen fast. We
that's
like to stay
true.
up to date.
Yes.
So, should we do that?
I think we should. This is such an exciting episode. I
All
can't wait.
right, let's jump right in then. We are thrilled to introduce two goaltenders, two entrepreneurs, and business moguls, creative minds. I'll just cut to the chase. The founders and CEOs of Second String Leather Company, Zach Smith and Joe Messina, who Megan kindly introduced me to. We're so excited to sit down and chat with them. Let's go to the second period.
Hope you love it.
All right. Welcome to the second period of Hockey Style. We are so excited you're here, Joe and Zach. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us. Yes, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. In the first period of the show today, Megan and I did a more formal introduction so the listeners know a little bit about Second Strength Leather Company. But I know we have a lot to dig into today, a lot to unpack. I'm smiling so much. I'm probably going to get like sore cheeks because these are two of my most favorite topics, like cute accessories, fine leather goods, and goalies. Like, you have my dream company. What can I say? So, we're very glad you're here. That said, you have a pretty cool dynamic because you guys are friends, you're business partners, you have this awesome company, Second Strength Leather Company. Can you tell us your origin story to start?
You're younger, so you go first. Um, so born and raised in Grand Rapids. Pretty much played hockey my whole life. And uh, golly, I started goaltending probably when I was 8 years old. And it's just it's grown so much since then, how the goalies play and all that. And but what attracted me was the gear, you know,
Yeah.
the gear, the masks, all that stuff, the paint jobs. So that's what really attracted me to goaltending. I guess initially, and I just fell in love with it and played all through high school and college. And that's where, I mean, I met this guy at the ice rink of all places. So, and he was trying to sell me a goalie mask. Probably, that was
Yes.
probably 2004, five,
That's been a while. Yeah. 20 years.
20 years ago.
Oh,
So,
congrats.
yeah, 20 years.
20-year anniversary.
That's amazing. Megan and I are smiling because we also met at an ice arena.
And now look at you. See, now you have your podcast.
There you
I
go.
know it all happened. So 8 years young, that is like very early to say, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a goalie. Your poor parents.
I know, exactly. Literally, poor parents.
I know, right? Megan and I saw the funniest bumper sticker this week that, what was it? It was the goaltender on the back of the, it just said like money
Huge
pit or
financial
something.
burden
Oh,
on
huge,
board.
huge financial
Yeah,
burden.
on board. Yes.
Have you seen that one?
Yep, that was definitely me. That's for sure. So,
That's
but
awesome.
yeah, I mean, I've always had like, used gear growing up, and stuff's expensive, and it's only getting more expensive nowadays. So it's when I was able to get my first custom set of gear, I went with Vaughn's Velocity 2s with like the tiger print on it or whatever that was. It looked like a tiger.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, so that was probably one of my favorite sets that I've had, just because it was my first set. But yeah, so goaltending has been a part of my life since I was 8 years old. And I graduated high school and went to college for a little bit, and I have no idea what I want to do with my life, but I know that I wanted to do hockey. So
Yep.
I was like, what can I do with hockey? And fortunately, he was my goalie coach in college, and
Sure was.
Ah.
we hit it off again after I said I don't want a mask from you in 2004 or 5.
Just kept bugging him. Just kept bugging him.
So, but yeah, that's where this all came from now, is wanting to do something with hockey. So
That's awesome.
Very
You made it
cool.
a reality. What about you, Joe?
I'm actually born and raised in Detroit.
Okay.
Played my minor hockey in the Detroit area. Moved away when I was 16 to play AAA hockey in Wisconsin. And then from there, I played at Shattuck St. Mary's in Minnesota. And then from there, I went to college in New York, played 4 years of college hockey in New York. And then that was sort of like the end of my my hockey road. Is after college, I was just sort of done and hung them up after that, because I haven't played like organized hockey since my last college game on senior night, believe it or not, since 2002. So it was 23
Where
years
in New
ago.
York?
So I'm sorry.
Where in New York?
At SUNY Brockport is where I played college
Okay,
hockey.
yeah.
So it was NCAA D3. So like my passion for hockey was sort of the same as Zach's, young age, playing all the way through, and just sort of like enamored by the equipment. I love the equipment. That was, I guess, probably any goalie that plays the sport or the position loves the equipment, just because you can get the custom gear, you can get the different unique colors, and more importantly, the goalie masks that you can get the custom paint job on. And so I think for any goalie, young or old, like sort of like it's like your body armor, but it's also your personality too, with the graphics on your gear, the graphics on your helmet. So I was always just drawn into the equipment, is what sort of drew me in when I was playing at a young age. And to this day, love the position, love goaltending. I still coach to this day. Like actually, Zach and I both coach college hockey. So it's something that's in my blood, and I'm just fortunate enough to be able to do hockey on a daily basis, whether it's, the leather company or coaching. It's part of my life. So I truly enjoy what hockey has given me.
Well, I would say little Joe and little Zach would be smiling ear to ear if they heard one day this would be their career. That you did it. You fulfilled your dream. Pretty cool. So for our listeners, you can tell that these two have a ton of experience and a wealth of knowledge, even beyond talking about the leather company, which we want to get into in detail. So fun fact, we are going to actually bring Zach and Joe back for a part 2. So today, guys, what do you think? Let's give everybody a deep dive into Second String Leather Company, because Megan and I are pretty obsessed. I mean, not to use the word too lightly. And we can't wait to tell everybody about why your product is so unique, so cool, so giftable, collectible, and allows people who love the sport in goaltending and hockey at large to have a piece of hockey history. So, on the theme of origin story, what's the origin story behind Second String Leather Company?
Again, in college, after hockey was done for me, started goalie coaching with Joe, and that kind of grew bigger and bigger. And thinking I want to do something with hockey for the rest of my life, and we threw around ideas for years, honestly. Just, hey, what could we do? What is hockey missing?
Mhm.
And we threw around, I think, an idea of hockey puck cufflinks. I mean, that was an idea, a product, and that was quickly shot down by me, I think. Yeah.
I think we went back and forth for probably well over a year and a half.
Yeah.
Throwing around ideas.
Yeah.
But I think we really, it took about, I'd say about a year and a half, 2 years. Cause there was where it originated from was, I think we went out to dinner with our wives and a couple of our buddies. We went downtown and we were just talking and talking.
4 goalies on the town.
There was 4 goalies, wives, girlfriends, just, going downtown having dinner. And we just started talking about sort of our ideas. And I think a couple days later, which is the crazy thing, because we've talked about it in years past, is Zach calls me at 2 a.m. and he's like, I got the idea. We're going to take hockey equipment and we're going to repurpose it into leather goods. And I was like literally, I was speechless. It's something that the light bulb goes off and you're thinking, this is the idea. This is the idea that, it was good that we got the idea, but it took us a while to get all the pieces in place to move it forward to where it is today. But it was truly a remarkable idea, because when someone thinks of, where we started to where we're at now and diversifying into other sports, it's truly something special that's very meaningful to us. So even in the beginning, when I was reading some of your questions that you sent over earlier this week, it sort of made me resonate back to where we started. Because we started off in 2019 on May 29th. So we're actually coming up on
tomorrow
to our anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary. We did that on purpose to celebrate with you.
So that was our first official launch date, was May 29th of 2019. So when I was reading through those questions, I was like, man, we've really come a long way in a short amount of time, but it's gone really quick too, to, see, when we first started, Zach only had 1 child. Now he's got 3, and my kids are in high school. One's almost graduating high school. So it's funny how, you build a business, you build a friendship, but then you also have your family members that are along with you as you sort of navigate and grow, and they've been supportive along the way.
Yeah, that definitely helps. So you two are so tight in life and in business. Any advice for Megan and I as we get our hockey style venture up and running, if you will?
Honestly, it's funny you say that, because when I was reading the question earlier, I think it's all about friendship, right? Some people you should never go into business with a family member or your best friend. I think of the opposite. I think it's those are the people that you lean on the most to give you the best advice, or at least trustworthy advice. That's someone that you trust in your inner circle. And I think that for you two, being that you're friends and you're passionate about the sport, it's no different than Zach and I are passionate about hockey, friendship, have the same values, have the same core values and family values. Like that means a lot to me and Zach. So I think that would resonate with you two, just starting off, because realistically, all it takes is one listener, and then one listener turns into 5 and then 10 and 20. No different than us selling our first wallet on May 29th of 2019. Because I think
at midnight,
which was the craziest part. We had our first.
Why we didn't launch at midnight?
I don't know. It was midnight on May 29th, which was just the craziest time to do it. But I remember because we were at Zach's house at his kitchen table
at my old house, just sitting there
holy smokes,
gosh, it's live.
It's the website was, I think the website crashed because there were so many people on it, or it got
that's cool.
Real quick.
We didn't think that we'd ever have the amount of traction, but as the story goes, from when we launched, I think we sold out within 2 weeks of all the. I mean, we probably had 200 or 300 pieces between. I think
it was 300 pieces.
So we had watch bands, keychains.
I don't even think we had watch bands then. I don't think we did watch bands yet.
Really?
I think
so we started off at the ground floor,
wallets.
so it was pretty bare bones, and now we do several thousand pieces on our launch days, and it's incredible.
Wow. Well, that had to be reassuring that you were onto something, that this wasn't going to be a fluke. You sell out that fast. You've made it, that you're on the right track. I worry less for Megan and I. We don't have a revenue driving business like you guys do. But I worry that she's just going to get plain old sick of me, because we started as best friends. Now we talk daily about podcast content, interviews, etc. And then I introduce her to my brother. They fall in love, and now he proposes. So now she can't even get rid of me at Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter. It's just every day. She's gonna be my sister. I know.
I love it.
It's funny, but you bring up a great point, Joe. That really understanding where someone's coming from, their intentions, and wanting to see them succeed. I think is it just is so much better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but also goals in life too. Is
no goals.
Yeah, exactly. No goals.
No goals.
Thought you'd appreciate that one.
Love it.
We got it. But yeah, it's just having goals in life too. It's it's not something that we just wanted to start and then just we're not really into it anymore. It's we're in it for the long haul. And to create a brand and a that's synonymous with all sports that people can resonate with, for years and years to come.
Well, I think you really nailed it in the idea category too, going from cufflinks, which would just be an occasional use, to the wallets that people use every single day. So you really filled that niche need.
Would this be a good segue on that note, Megan, to show what we use day to day?
Every day.
Every day. Should we start with our
everydays over, but I brought my favorites.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry to take over and monopolize your interview, but we're just giddy at the chance to show you some of these things. For our listeners who are audio only, we will do our very best to explain what we are showing on YouTube. But if you'd like to see pictures, hop on over to our Instagram at Hockey Style Podcast, and we will be sure to share photos of all the products that we're showing today. So, Megan, you introduced me to Second String, so you get to go first.
I get to go first. Should I just start with my favorite?
Your favorite?
It's not going to surprise you guys. It's my Jimmy Howard pink iceberg. And it's such a good one. It's that 3-slot style. And it's got a really nice chunk of the iceberg. And you guys have to tell me, I know you already know, you saw the photo, that we were able to reunite two pieces of this together. Has that ever happened again?
I don't think it ever has. I mean, we have people that come up and say, "Hey, I've got this wallet from your first collection," and I mean, it still looks amazing, when it's weathered over time. But I don't think we've ever had anybody join together and say, "Hey, we could put a piece of a blocker or a glove or a pad together." So that was probably one of the coolest photos we've ever taken.
We've had some people. I know there's been people in airports that have the second string sweatshirt on, and then someone be like, "Wait, you have a second string sweatshirt? I have the second string wallet to go along with that."
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so
It's like a club. When you meet someone else who is in the club, it's like you immediately connect.
Are you in or you're out?
Yeah. But we welcome everyone to be in.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
no secret initiation that I've at least had to go through.
I also love that Jimmy signed this. I used this for a long time, and that signature is still so good. It looks so good. And he was really funny, and I'm like, "Do you remember this?" And he's like, "Oh, I remember."
How could you?
He's a pretty he follows us on social media. He's like commented on a few things. But that's the cool part too, that now we've been out for a while, have a decent following. So you get some interaction with professional athletes, agents. So it's pretty cool to see that, like, because they actually have taken notice to some of our pieces that we've made, and we've even sent them to, Jimmy himself has a few of our pieces, but just other goalies in the National Hockey League and even players around the league. That to me is pretty cool, because I don't think we ever probably initially thought we'd ever get to that point.
Right.
That to me is a pretty special like way of showing, the quality and the craftsmanship, is when you actually give it to the actual individual, and like, holy smokes, that actually came from my pair of pads that I wore, 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Or when you gift a professional NHL goaltender his favorite NHL goaltender's wallet. Yeah. So that's a funny story. We were at training camp, and it's no secret to our listeners that Alex Lyon is my favorite goaltender for a number of fun reasons. But he had seen the wallet that I was carrying around. Sergei Bobrovsky. And Sergei was his mentor when he was in Florida for 23-24 before he came to us in Detroit, right? And he had said, like, Bob's my favorite. So the next time I saw him, I gave him your Bobrovsky credit card wallet, and he was like as giddy as I was when I got my Bob wallet. And I'm like, Alex, you are a professional goaltender. He's like, yeah, but it's Sergei Bobrovsky. Like, I gotta call him and tell him I have this. I'm like, well, I don't have that luxury, so you can just mention I have one too. But yeah, this is one of my favorites. So for listeners who are audio only, it says Bob. I mean, there's nothing more iconic than having part of Bobrovsky's pad that actually says Bob. And I will never probably own, now that he is, a Stanley Cup winner, an actual Bobrovsky pad, glove, or blocker. So I will cherish this always.
Great piece.
That's awesome. All right, Megan, what else do you have that we're dying to show?
One of my old ones that's like a favorite, and I don't even remember who this was, but it's such a good one.
Oh yeah. Was that Brian's?
I think that was a Brian's glove or blocker from Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if I remember, it was a female goalie. I could totally be making that up.
I think
describe.
I think she played for Notre Dame. Or was that? No, it was. That was about 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago.
Oh yeah, it's an older one. So it's a credit card wallet, but it's got the sewn on shamrock. It's so good.
I've had so many people ask about those, like, even from my college team, because the new guys coming in, they don't know what I do outside of goalie coaching, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like those shamrock ones are unbelievable! Mm-hmm. Like next time you have them, I'm gonna buy one." I'm like, "Well, probably not gonna have them next time." Like,
I know.
One, all of our pieces are 1-of-1. So
yeah, and that's a great point. We wanted to make sure our listeners really understand it's not just part of owning, a piece of a team you love, or a player you love, or something that was part of a game that you attended that you always want to remember. These are also all 1-of-1. So no one will ever have your exact piece or the puck marks that Linus Ullmark had in St. Louis, which I am showing right now. I love Linus Ullmark, but I'm probably not supposed to say this. We're sort of like, team agnostic on the pod, but not a Senators gal for many reasons. I'm a Detroit gal. So I was so fortunate to get my hands on your Ullmark St. Louis wallet. Yeah. And then Bob sold right away when you did your, Boston sold right away when you did your Centennial launch with the spring collection. Those were so good.
I was actually at the Senators Red Wings game when he was playing.
Oh, really?
That was in March.
Yeah.
29th.
At LCA.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, you'll have to say hi next time. Oh, so fun. That's so cool. All right. Well, we probably want to get through a few more questions, but I do want to do an unboxing because do you know what's in here?
Leather goods.
This, listeners, is one of the beautiful boxes you will receive when you order from Second String. I mean, this is like, you don't even need to gift wrap it. Just put a beautiful bow on top, and it's a pretty iconic box. It just looks like you're opening up a pad, and they're very good quality. So my husband usually steals mine and uses them to like organize his like pocket squares and like cufflinks and things. But this is my spring collection order. I cheated and already obviously opened it. But when you open it up, you get some cool Second String Leather Company stickers. There's usually a little surprise vintage hockey cards, which I always love collecting. But I know since they're all like your children, guys, I thought you'd want to know that they got good homes. So I got the Swayman Maine
Yeah,
pads.
great. Oh, that's awesome.
Heck yeah.
So this is for listeners on audio. This is Jeremy Swayman's Maine collegiate pads, and it's just the most beautiful shade of aqua blue. It has like Kraken vibes with the 6 slots, but such good puck marks. I mean, I probably won't carry this one around because those puck marks are just perfect. So good. And then Megan's going to disown me as a friend because I have been singing Oasis to her for the last 3 weeks. After all, you're my Joseph Wall.
Oh, another classic.
Love it.
Oh, love Wall. So my one and only Toronto Maple Leafs thing, because again, I'm a Detroit Red Wings girl, but it's so good. And just the detail that you put, in each little credit card slot, like you could just go out and buy, a beautiful black brown leather wallet, and I don't even think those would have the craftsmanship in the stitching that you guys pride yourselves on. So tell us about that. In Grand Rapids, you manufacture all your products, right? Yep. What is that process like, and do you have a partner you work with?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because when we first started, obviously our lives changed as we started this company, as we grew from day one to where we're at today, but so did our manufacturing team, because when we walked into, and that was that door, into the gentleman's back door of his shop, his life changed. And we've been fortunate enough to have a team of craftsmen. And I think, to maybe take a step back, our wallets are one of one, like you said, but the craftsmanship, they're all handmade. They're all right here, handmade right in Grand Rapids. There's a lot of attention to detail that is not in a, mass produced wallet by any means. This is something that truly is one of one. There's a lot of attention to detail in making each one, but our team of craftsmen, it's truly a work of art. That's the one special thing that we really pride ourselves on, is the work of art that each wallet has. So when we're making 2,000-3,000 wallets, each one is different. No 2 wallets are the same, but they're truly unique and special. But when we walked in, when we walked into our leather shop, the owner, Jacob, he didn't really know anything about hockey. He was just a leather craftsman, and he just, decided to, meet Zach and I and listen to our idea at the time. And that was probably like in 2018. And we just we sort of struck it off from day one, and we've been going strong ever since. And he's challenged us of like adding new products and trying new things. And, we're always collaborating on things and just trying to grow and, diversify with our different wallet styles. So it's been pretty special that it's not only changed our life, but also other people that are also involved in our company that not too many people see on a day-to-day basis. Because we have another lady, her name's Marissa. She's an incredible craftsman. And those two work hand in hand along with us, that just build out these pieces and, that put them together, and how they sort of all flow together with the different colors and the puck marks and the branding and the names. It's truly special to see, from when we like go and pick out we go buy a pad, and we've like wanted that pad for so long, and we acquire it, to see it go through the whole production process, and then we get it on our website and we sell it. So like something like the Swayman piece that you're holding, I remember buying the piece, and then we're like, man, we have to have that Jeremy Swayman. He's an iconic goalie, Boston goalie, but people are also fans of when he was in Maine, when he played college hockey as well. So those pieces are iconic just because it resonates with a little bit of a different crowd, like the collegiate crowd. So we're trying to hit on all these different points with these pieces, but it's truly special to see like how we started our company, who's been involved with our company to like make it grow today. And we just try to, you know, give unique pieces sort of a second life. And that's sort of how it's really sort of taken on a life of its own.
That's a great story. And there's so many benefits to your business in that you're giving people that opportunity to track down a piece from their favorite player, but you're also very environmentally friendly. Like you said, you're giving a second life to pads that most of the time would have just been sitting in some storage area, right? Or some locker room that never got cleaned out in a lot of cases. How do you get your hands on those things? And did you think in the beginning that you would be, you know, running a business that was sustainable in that capacity? Was that a mission of yours or just, you know, a benefit of what you've created?
I think it's a benefit, honestly. Like I didn't think about it in that aspect of like, you know, reusing something to make something else. I didn't really think of it that way. I just thought it as, hey, we're going to take something really cool that I love and make it into something really cool that everybody else would love, you know. And I did not think about that. And like, you know, even diving deeper into that, pulling on heartstrings of the gear that maybe a grandpa wore or your dad or something like that. I mean, we've got multiple stories of people that were literally brought to tears because of the products we brought back to life and for family members to have. And like, we did not think about that at all.
No.
Like, we just thought of making cool pieces. And it's like, these people are sending us emails back like, I've never seen my grandpa cry until today when I gave him this wallet. And that was just like, oh my gosh, like what did we do? Like,
yeah, the custom program is on a whole nother level because like Zach said, it just it really, you know, it's one thing to buy a piece from your favorite hockey team or player, or maybe like colorways on the website, but to do the custom program where you're actually sending us a piece of equipment that has a lot of sentimental value, whether it's, you know, yourself, a deceased family member, grandma, grandpa, whoever. I mean, it may be even a distant relative. There's some type of connection to those pieces. And I think it was last year we did. So there was a goalie who played men's league in Canada, and he was the local dentist. So for like 30 years, he would always, they play men's league hockey. He was like, sort of like the organizer of the men's league because he was the dentist. He had a little bit of extra money and he took care of everybody. They would go out for drinks and pizza afterwards after they got done playing men's league. And he'd pay for everybody. And he sort of did this for literally 3 decades. And he passed away, and his daughter contacted us and she's like, I really want to give all the players that he's played with over the years a piece of my dad's equipment. So they gave at the funeral, they gave like all the hockey players that came. I think we made like wallets and keychains, and I mean, we made a whole
ton of keychains.
And they gave out those pieces at the funeral. And so, and actually they talked about it in the when she like gave her reading about her father, because not too many people knew, like, oh, we have a keychain on our chair, there's a wallet on our chair, like what's the meaning behind this? And then come to find out in her speech, she was talking about, you know, what you have now is a piece of my father, you know, to live on as you guys, you know, go forward. You know, these are pieces that are, you know, these are what, you know, meant the most to my father's, you know, hockey and like the friendships that he made over the 30 years playing. I was like, man, I never even, like, when we did those pieces, I told our team, like, hey, this is the meaning behind these pieces. They were like, you know, you obviously, you take care of those pieces because there's so much meaning behind like all those custom pieces. But that one's like one story that like stuck out, like, wow, that's pretty incredible. I don't think we ever thought from day one that we would ever, you know, do something like that. And it's funny, this custom program, I think one of our first custom pieces, was from she gave us a pair of goalie pads, like from her husband, that were in a bag for like 30 years in the basement. And I think the neighbor was like, hey, we can sell these for you on eBay, or we can, get rid of these for you. And at the time, this was like right when we first started our company, the gentleman who was the neighbor was like, hey, there's this company called Second String. They actually like repurpose hockey equipment. Why don't we get these goalie pads from your, deceased husband? We can, make some pieces for you to have. And so I think she like donated the goalie pads, and all she wanted was a wallet to put on the nightstand that was like her husband's equipment. Oh. And I'm like, yeah, how do you not get emotional thinking about stuff like that? It's just
all right, Joe, no more. You've already made me cry twice in one podcast episode.
Has that ever happened before? Have you ever cried on your podcast?
Well, we're still new, but you are the first.
That's a first milestone.
Goaltending brings up all kinds of emotions, guys. I'll be swearing, laughing, crying.
Oh, man. But honestly,
that's awesome.
Like, that is Second String. Like, that's truly, those stories are what make our company so special. Whether, we even had pieces that we've done for a 16-year-old who, it was his, like, I think he graduated high school and he got his first car. And so the dad gave him this is his first like adult wallet with like a keychain that was made from his equipment. Wow. It's like stories like that are just, that's it's bigger than us.
Oh, cool.
Because I mean, to be honest with you, like the pieces that we're making are going to outlive all of us. They're like life. Mm-hmm. They're like heirlooms. They're special pieces that will live on forever.
And heirloom quality too. I mean, you're investing in something really, really well done. When you were talking about the wife who just wanted something to put on her nightstand, don't cry, Devon. I was also thinking another benefit I didn't even think about. So clearly I'm a goalie collector. There's only so many pads I can bring into our study, right? Like Megan's always like, you can find room. She's an enabler. But that's a really good point. Like this is so much more compact and it's still just as special and still made from the pads that tell the story, that, personify the player, the team that you love, or the husband or the father. Goodness. Yeah. That really went down a path. This is deep stuff you guys are doing. It's true though, because one reason we love hockey, but sports in general, people are so passionate about the sport, about the team, and certainly about the time they spend with their family and their friends engaging in that sport. And hockey brought Megan and I together. We literally met at Little Caesars Arena. I met my husband in college and didn't really fall for him till I went to one of his hockey games, although he's a center. My brother grew up playing. Goalie? No. And like one sidebar funny story on that is the Red Wings just did one of their Hockey Town Moments marketing episodes, and I was fortunate enough to be in it. But somebody sent the email out and mislabeled, listen to Devon Cook's story and how she met her husband when he was a goaltender in college. And he was like, "Are you effing kidding me?" He's like, "No, I'm a center. Like,
I'm not a goalie, I'm a center." Maybe he was
know.
Meant to be a goalie. It's sort of like he can always pick it up at a later.
I always say, like, you were good at skating back, like you were a defensive forward, whatever. So it's really funny that you say that. But no, we all have connected and bonded through this sport. So absolutely what you're doing has a tremendous sentimental attachment. And I know what Megan and I will be gifting everybody for Christmas.
Love it.
So anything else you wanted to share about, you've touched on a lot, but, just the thought process around why you have created these pieces and why they have connected with so many people and players as well, because you have quite a few players that follow you and have purchased from you.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like goalies are obviously a different breed, but we are so in tune with our gear, but we like to, express ourselves with our gear and all that stuff. But like players, it's goalie gear is synonymous with hockey. So like players even attract to the goalie gear of like, oh, those are so cool, and we have players all the time. They're like, I was a forward in high school and college or whatever, but I think these things are so cool. Like I'm buying like all your collections up, you know? So it's not just for goalies, it's for everybody, you know, and hockey fans are huge and, you know, they're crazy for their teams, their local teams or whatever that may be. But yeah, it's not just a goalies website to go to and buy leather goods from just because it's made from goalie gear.
Yes. My husband carries a Ville Husso daily wallet from Second String. Megan, what does Brennan have? Is he Calgary?
No, I'm the one with the Calgary.
Oh yeah, you have the Calgary
as well.
Oh, he has Ville too. Okay. So both of the men in our lives daily carry your Ville Husso wallets, who I also know is a big supporter of Second String Leather Company. But funny enough, Megan and I, so volunteering at training camp and, you know, various activities with the Red Wings, have had the opportunity to talk to some of the up and coming prospects, rookies in Grand Rapids Griffins about Second String. And Sebastian Cosa was like, wait, how do I get one of these? And then just like all goaltenders, he has a favorite. And he's like, wait, do you think they have Andrei Vasilevsky? I was like, wait, is Andrei your favorite? And he wouldn't mind. I was like, yeah, he's my favorite. And I said, well, what are you going to do when you come up next year and you play him? And he goes, without batting an eye, beat him.
Yeah, love it.
I was like, that's so good. That's so good. So there are many goaltenders who I think would love to like get in touch with you guys, and should they just want to send in something to create something for their parents or their wives, you know, or actually become part of your program, how do you go about sourcing new players and teams to create from?
So funny story backing off of that. I was at Meyer the other day, and I was like standing there looking at the coffee, and I saw this really tall guy walk by. I'm like, God, this dude is huge. And I turn around and look, I'm like, Sebastian?
Yeah.
He turns around and he goes, yeah. I'm like, I had my Second String jacket on. He looked, he's like, oh my gosh, you're the Second String guy. I was like,
no way.
Yeah.
That's
He was there with his wife, and I was like, oh, hey, nice to meet you, and all that. And we were talking for a little bit. And he's like, I was just talking with Lions about your guys' wallets and all that stuff. And I was like, hey, yeah, that's that's pretty cool.
I'm so proud. I feel
it's
all come full circle. Cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So are you going to carry him, or is this like proprietary information you can't share with the public?
Yeah, you have to wait.
All right. Don't worry, we're fully subscribed.
We won't disappoint.
Okay, sounds good. For our listeners, you must go follow Second String on, well, I follow you very religiously on Instagram. I'm sure you're elsewhere, but you do the coolest segues or lead ups, countdowns, if you will, to your drops each season. So tell us about that.
Oh gosh. Well, first of all, Zach takes all the photos. So any of the wallet photos that you see online or on our website, that's from Zach. So he's become a photographer.
They're beautiful.
I mean, good Lord, he's probably taken, I don't know, 3,000 photos and editing them and putting them up. It's a process.
Yeah. So I think like every wallet usually has about
two or three photos of each.
So every collection, there's got to be 2,000, 3,000.
Yeah,
there's so many. So if we're having 2,000 wallets times that by 3 or 4 pictures, it gets pretty extensive. So Zach has grown along the ways of the photography and like the setup and
so don't talk to me during that week.
Okay, that's your hell week.
Oh, it's hell week. It's probably like 2 weeks.
It's just like
he's pulling all. I'm like,
don't even talk to me.
I'm like, what time do you go to bed? 4 a.m. He just
oh my gosh,
grind. It's tough.
I'm a night owl.
Yeah, it's definitely a grind. But the social media, I love it. So we have a marketing team that we work with that is like, it helps us along, but not just from like more on the back end of like how we advertise, but just, growing our brands as we grow outside of hockey. And they sort of like really push us to do some other creative things and ideas. So it's just definitely taken a life of its own, more so than just hockey. Now we're getting into the other sports of like football, golf, baseball, like really trying to branch out. So the social media is where it's at, because, you put up a video and 8,000 people get to see it, or you get some sales from it, or it generates some interest or conversation.
Yep.
So the power of social media is very strong, but it's tedious because you got to be on it every day and you got to, post on a regular basis every day. So it's a part of our business structure to be heavily involved in the social media. So doing all the videos, while Zach's doing photos, I'm there, taking some videos. That's how a lot of those like teaser videos come about, is during our picture days. I'm just in there just, taking videos and just doing all sorts of unique camera angles and stuff like
Holding
that.
his breath.
So it's fun. Like, we have a great time every time we're doing our collection pieces. I'm doing all these videos, but honestly, it's our job. It's although it's quote unquote a job in our business, but man, it's hockey. It's like
but people love like raw, just whatever photos, videos, and all that stuff. And like when we do our launches, our drops for saying, here's what's coming up. Like we did the draft style one for Christmas last year.
Good.
Yeah.
People seem to really love that one, so we brought it back, and
it's so super creative. I mean, there's so many sports related brands with big seasonal releases, and I have to say, like, yours is the most engaging. And so for our listeners, if you haven't followed them, you will get like a little teaser and you'll get pictures just kind of giving you hints about what might be coming, and then you get one player at a time, so you really are just building up so much momentum and anticipation. And trust me, I set every alarm I possibly could, including stole my husband's phone and set an alarm on his phone. He's like, what is this for? Because we were not going to miss it, because you really did such a good job, building up the suspense. Not that everyone wouldn't have been waiting already, but it's fun. You make it kind of gamified in some ways.
Absolutely. So then were you one of the people that was on the computer and then your husband's on the phone and like ready to go once the drop happens?
No, I was one of those people who was like, hopefully my husband doesn't realize I'm getting both Swayman and Wall at the same time.
Don't see the credit card statement.
If I put it in as one purchase, maybe he won't realize. How many wallets do you need? No, it worked out great. So
we have some super fans. We have some super fans that are just diehards. I mean, I think there's a couple people that have 30 to 40 purchases. But they're great people. I mean, whether they use them for. I think the one lady who constantly buys, she's a very loyal customer. She buys watch bands for. I think her son might play on like a junior team, or she may be a billet, so she gives them as gifts. And she's so it's always nice to see like certain names come across like on orders, like, oh, they're coming back again. And we give out special like welcome back coupon codes or thank you coupon codes that for loyal customers, if they have one wallet. I mean, it's sort of like shoes.
You probably don't know about those.
Yeah, you guys know about probably having shoes or extensive amount of wallets or even like purses.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We have an extensive amount of used goalie sticks and jerseys.
I was gonna say the jerseys.
We're not your typical.
If someone has 10 pairs of nice dress shoes, why can't you have 5 wallets?
That's what all the guys are like. My wife would kill me if I bought a wallet. I'm like, you can have multiple wallets. They have a bunch of shoes, so you can have wallets.
Purses, just have them on a cycle. It's like every day of the week, you just cycle them around.
Yeah. At the end of each of our episodes, to tie it back to hockey style, our name, which is more than literal style. It's also team style, arena style, the style of the people like you guys, like behind the scenes, who are still like impacting the sport at large. We always give a style tip, a hockey style tip. So ours today is a sneak peek. One of them is we carry these when you go to an arena, and the bags are so small. So sometimes we get so fed up of measuring our tiny little bags. We'll just grab a cute and we just carry them. And people ask about them constantly. Like my day-to-day game Red Wing wallet. It's actually Peter Mrazek. Look, my credit cards are in here. So on YouTube. But it's a Vaughn, and I got the A. So even though it was before we signed Mrazek too, I was like, Lion, will you sign it for me? Because he also uses, the Vaughn white and red. So he signed it for me. But everybody's like, wait, that's so cool. And it's everything you need. I just slide a lip gloss right there.
For me. Wait, why are you carrying a Calgary wallet?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, she carries a Calgary wallet to the Red Wings game, and her favorite koozie happens to be Columbus Blue Jackets because it's longer. So it fits like what are those drinks you like? So she goes with her Red Wings jersey, Calgary wallet and a Columbus Blue Jackets drink.
She's an avid fan. She just covers all the teams.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it's wild. That's my girl. We just love hockey. What can we say? So, okay, guys.
I do have a quick question for Zach.
Oh.
It's not that bad.
You're being singled out.
In addition to all the photography, are you still disassembling and sewing gloves for the golf club covers?
Yes.
Are you still doing
on top of the photos?
They look so good.
All that. Yes. So I do make the golf head covers.
Yep. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's definitely a process. The player gloves seem to be a little bit easier just because they are a thinner material. But I back those with a synthetic leather, so I can kind of put it together and sew it down so it stays intact where it needs to be. So, but yeah, the goalie pad leather, I mean, when you have Brian's, because they do the multiple layers still, there's sometimes 4 or 5 layers there of color. I'm like, how am I going to turn this thing inside out or right side out? Like, there's no way. And I'm literally just jamming it in there, just trying to get the darn thing to come back out. I'm like, oh my gosh.
So you guys are jacks of all trades. I mean, you have your hands in every facet of your business, right?
Yeah, I change his light bulbs. Yeah, everything. You sure do.
Wait, so Joe, do you do all the social media posts?
I do. Yep.
Really? Okay. There's some entertaining content there. So
yeah, so I stay on that every day. So it's pretty fun to engage with people because we get, I mean, I think through Facebook and Instagram, I mean, there's always conversations going on, trying to stay on top of that. We usually post, I don't know, 2 to 3 to 4 times a day. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's constant. And again, going back to our marketing company that we use that just sort of pushes us along and try this, try that. It's such a, it's social media is like an animal. You gotta keep sort of feeding it, because if you don't put stuff on it, it just goes stale.
It changes its diet very quickly.
It does change its diet.
Well said. Good analogy.
Yeah. So it's like,
well, our social media is brand new. So any tips you have for us? We just are, like I said, small but mighty.
When we first started, we're like, man, we just got to get to 1,000 people.
Yep. It's 1,000. All right, let's get to 3.
Yeah. So now I think we're pushing almost 35,000 on Instagram. I think Facebook's almost at 30. Yeah. So those are our 2 big platforms that we keep pushing. And then we just started the football Instagram page. So now we're just trying to build that and put some more content out on that, because we're going to have more footballs coming out before the college football season in August.
Okay, great. Well, we can't help you there, but we really embarrassed ourselves in the last episode because we were talking about.
Do you have any neighbors or close friends that do like football? Just push them our way.
Yes. And I would venture to say most of our listeners are normal and don't just watch hockey 365 days a year, because they immediately go from playoffs to worlds to prospect tournament to training camp. So there are other sports for other people, just not for us. No, but that's exciting. You guys are growing fast. Any other products that you have on the docket that you might like to add to your mix, or are you trying to be very focused and specific in what you carry?
I mean, we've branched out into a lot of different products, I would say the last 3 years. And, we keep going back to, what's the biggest seller? Wallets. So like we've had candles and other smaller items as well, I guess just for extra add-ons that people are like, oh my gosh, yes, I love those, and we've kind of like trimmed them out a little bit to what is more appealing to people. So we've kind of trimmed out quite a few products in the last probably year and a half.
I think one of the biggest ones that we added in the year was our cell phone cases.
Yeah, cell phone cases was huge.
Yeah.
So we do cell phone cases. So we have a couple different various like designs that go on the phone cases for iPhone and Android phone cases. And it's been, we bought a laser and and I do these in our shop. So for me, it was like learning how to use the laser and getting the programming down. And it was probably around this time last year that we started to do the phone cases, some various keychains, some like they're called like clamshell for like your wires, like for your maybe like your charging wires. You like sort of wrap them up and you put like a little clamshell around them. I think they're called like cord tacos is what they technically call them.
Okay, I never knew that.
So there's a bunch of various pieces that we cut out on the laser, but the one main one was the phone case covers, and they've been awesome. We probably do three to 6 to 10 a week, depending on like if it's around the holidays or maybe like during graduation. So it always makes sort of like really nice gifts for like a phone case for like a hockey enthusiast. So that's been
we'll have to keep our eye out for those because Megan and I both just put we just put cards on the back of our
like that. That was a picture.
Totally normal, you know, thing for a lady to do, right?
Okay.
No. And then we forget at warm-ups that they're back there and I'm like, I do. I'm like, Lion, snap a picture. Oh yeah, that's you. Smile. So weird. Okay, you have earrings. You only have, I think, like 2 pair right now.
Yeah, two basic ones.
Unsolicited advice. We love owning something that is game used. It's just such a passion. And for us, like I said, part of hockey history. If you ever thought to do a bangle, like a metal bangle with a strip of a hockey pad, if you have remnant pieces of that are too small to turn into a wallet, we would buy the heck out of those. Just saying.
A bangle. Never
a bangle. A little bracelet, like all our hockey bracelets. So just food for thought.
We did that. We used to do like knives and like some kitchen kitchen utensils. We had knives. We had what else we have? Like grilling spatulas. We had charcuterie boards that were beautiful.
Yeah, those were awesome.
Oh, that sounds nice. I didn't see those.
The handles were made out of skate blades, so you'd hold on to those unsharpened. Cool. So
unsharpened.
But the wood was made out of what was it, like 100-year-old like church or a barn or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, the gentleman that made that stuff for us, he moved away from like our local area, so unfortunately we were not able to make those anymore. But the charcuterie boards were incredible. They were very, very special. Not very expensive, just because they were all handmade, and they had, like Zach said, the side handles were actual skate blades that were welded and like sort of like forged into the wood of the charcuterie board. So we've dabbled in a few different things and tried a few different things. Because again, with our social media following, with our followers, trying to put out unique things that just, keep them like, oh, I need to have an oven grilling mitt. That's something that we sell on occasion. Or, they have a knife, like a unique, knife that's made out of a hockey stick and a skate blade. So trying to, give out some uniqueness to our brand. But in the end, our bread and butter are the wallets and keychains, and watch bands. So we really try to stay in our lane when it's come to those products.
We received advice from a fantastic female entrepreneur on our episode that drops tomorrow, where she said it's really important to know your swim lane, own your swim lane, like stay in that and do what you do best. So I think you've found magic here. Like, it's working. Don't stop. We're clearly obsessed. Before we let you go, we want to ask one more question. So clearly we geek out when we find cool pieces of game used hockey equipment. Megan, she collects the skaters more, but there's always some of those. Evgeny Svechnikov, her collection is the biggest in the world for sure.
I know of.
Yeah, so we know what
anyone else would confess to this.
Yours is definitely the biggest. I can't imagine.
Bet they have all this. No, I'm just kidding. It's lovely.
It's lovely. I will say, I think I probably have the biggest Alex Lyon collection next to his mother or his fiance. So, but that said, what made us go when we found it. What about you guys? You've seen so much. You've seen every cool pair of goalie pads I could ever dream of. Like, what was it that came across your desks that just made you go, wow?
Flurry was definitely up there. Like, when we got those, I was like, unbelievable.
Yeah. Which Flurry pads?
They were his Minnesota ones, but they were the gold ones.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
they're really
good.
With I believe it had the green and a little red on the side too. So
those are pretty iconic. We've had some Rick Lundquist stuff. We've had some Grant Fuhrer, Felix Potvin, obviously some Ed Belfour that's in our current collection. But I think the Fleury was
pretty awesome.
Like even having those in the shop, you're like, damn, like those, whoa.
Yeah.
Those are Marc-Andre, because his stuff doesn't really go into circulation. And if it does, it's really, really expensive. And we just happen to be able to acquire them. And I think they sold out in like 15 minutes.
Not even 15 minutes.
It was so crazy how fast those pieces sold out. And there's a few people. There's actually someone here in Grand Rapids that has like a really cool one. And he always shows me because he's one of, I just know him from hockey in the local area. So he always carries it around. And I'm like, that is a badass wallet. Like it's so special. It's so cool. But that's probably one of the more iconic names. Yeah. We've had some pretty special ones. We've had some Carey Price stuff.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Growing up, Mike Vernon was my favorite goalie, and we actually have had 2 pairs.
We had a Red Wings set.
Red Wings and a Sharks. Yeah. So like seeing those, I was like, this was my favorite goalie growing up. Like I
even has a picture with Mike Vernon as a kid.
I have multiple pictures with him. Everything I have of his is signed. I was like, man, I wonder if he would remember me, because I was like always there trying to get his autograph and all that. But yeah, I've got a lot of Vernon stuff. So seeing those pads show up in my office, I was like, all right, I might have to keep these.
Yeah. So on that note, what do you say to the people who are like, oh, I can't believe you're cutting up that pair of pads? Like, has it ever come across where, you know, you clearly have a mission and you're giving more people the opportunity to have a piece of something they love? But what do you tell people who ask about that?
Right off the bat, we already know we're not going to please everybody.
Yeah.
That's just how it is in life for everything, you know? So, you know, it's the haters will hate it. It is what it is, but we stay in our lane. Like you were saying, the lady on the podcast that's coming out tomorrow, you know, we're just staying in our lane, you know, do our thing, and we don't even let it get to us.
I think it's more so the quality and the craftsmanship too, because we've had people that have maybe disliked what we do, but then they take a chance, buy a piece from us. Then they buy a second piece from us, and they'll be like, oh, you know, I'll be the first one to admit that I was like a hater in the beginning, but now I have a piece that, you know, it's one thing to have a pair of pads, like, you know, in your studio that you have your pads, we have our pads, but you can't take those with you. Like when you go out on the town, or you go out to a sporting event, or just, you know, family occasion, and you're a proud sports fan, but when you pull your wallet out of your pocket, there's a story there. There's something like special about that. It's sort of like a trading card, right? It's like, you know, there's these $1 million trading cards, but they stay in like a little case, and they stay in like a vault, or they stay in like someone's, you know, drawer. Like no one's ever going to really get to see this. This is a special piece because you can bring it with you everywhere you go, and you're like a traveling fan of the sport, and you have it in your back pocket. So I think as we've grown as a company, we've stayed in our lane. We've let our quality and craftsmanship sort of speak for itself. But even us being passionate sports fans of hockey and football and golf, like showing our love to the sport, but also like preserving the uniqueness of these pieces, that they truly do have a story. And I think it's no different than, you know, how we display the goalie pads up there. You can display your wallet too with, you know, Joseph Wall's name. You can set it on your, you know, on your counter, and just, it's something to stare at because it is a piece of art, and it's one of one. It's truly special. So we've given it another shape, another form of uniqueness outside of the whole piece of equipment. So yeah, we do have people that dislike what we do, but like Zach said, you're never going to please everybody. But I think where we find our passion in the sport, and sort of giving these pieces a second life, and going back to even like the custom stuff that we do, because we've had some pro pieces that we've also done for individuals that have, you know, there's some meaning behind it. So I think when people sort of see what we're doing as a whole, it's pretty special.
Oh, Joe, that was, I mean, obviously you nailed it. This is your company, but I never thought about that. I've had less than a dozen people come into my study upstairs in my house. Like, I don't know how many people you've had in your basement, Megan, but it's probably a similar number, right? Like, we don't get to show this stuff off, but the number of people I've been able to show this wallet to and then create a connection with and just make friends at LCA who now every time I see them, like we stop, we wave, we get a beverage.
The Alex Lyon lady
you're
wallet.
right. Oh, you won't believe the number of people who will walk past me and be like, "Go Lion!" Like, oh, you better come. I don't know what I'm gonna do. We can't. We got to save that for the goalie episode.
Don't spiral.
I'm spiraling, Megan. I'm spiraling. Okay.
The goalie
So
controversy in Detroit. What's gonna happen?
Oh my gosh. No, but also like the set of pads are very expensive. So like
yes.
not many people can afford to buy a $5,000 set of gear and let it sit in your house, you know?
Yeah. I'm not buying. Megan and I collect Evgeny Svechnikov and Alex Lyon. We're not buying $5,000.
So it's like when it comes to that aspect of, you know, like he was saying, it's a pretty large item to be carrying around. So we've, you know, scaled it down and made it where a lot more people can enjoy that specific player's gear.
Yeah. No, you're right. I was just in Florida for the Florida Wings game, regular season, the last one, and I went to look at the Bobrovsky game worn.
Oh, yep.
I would have to like take out a second mortgage on my house. Like what? So you're right. For people to have access to that, I loved the way you talked about it. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to address that because we think what you're doing is so awesome, so unique. And just thank you both so much for spending an hour with us talking all about Second String Leather Company. Did I miss anything, Megan?
No, I think it's great. And I can't wait for the day that you will actually have to say a regular season game for a Wings game because that was obvious.
Yeah, you're right. Guys, anything you wanted to add that you didn't get to touch on regarding your company?
I think the special thing that we have working or in the works right now is that we're branching off into the other sports. So we have football is going to be, we've already dabbled in football a little bit this past holiday, this past Christmas, but we're going to be getting into more of the college football, the NFL moving forward. We're getting into golf as well. So we have a golf bag that we just acquired that we're going to be making into some leather wallets here later this summer. So venturing off into the different sports avenues is something that we're really excited on because we have the recipe for hockey, but there's obviously other sports fans out there than just hockey. So we want to be able to dabble in, you know, baseball, football, golf, and just sort of grow that way. Obviously, our putter covers are a very important part of our business as well. So we've been just trying to figure out a good driver head cover that we've been sort of bouncing ideas around. But honestly, the biggest thing that we've been really working on, and we're really excited to eventually get it out there, is our new packaging.
So really? I like your packaging.
Yeah. So what we've had that packaging for about 5 years. So we're actually going to be, we're working with some designers on coming up with a new package design for all of our sports. So I think the new design, once we launch it later this summer, early in the fall, is going to be really, really cool. So we got some really good thoughts and ideas into it. And obviously it's going to be, it's going to, you know, tell a story, like the experience of like when you get the package in the mail, you take the box out of the package and it's going to be like an experience opening up the box. So we're really excited to share what we think is going to be like the next step for Second String, taking that step in the different sports fields. But it's the experience that we want to create when you get that box in the mail. Like it is something special because, you know, we have people that, hey, I'm going to save up a month to purchase a wallet, or I'm going to, you know, buy this for my brother. I'm going to buy this for my dad. I'm going to buy this. Like there's some meaning behind it. So we want the whole experience from like start to finish to be really special. So when they get that wallet in the mail, it's like, it's finally arrived, right? So when they pull that out of the package, there's some excitement there. So that's what we've really been working on is the packaging. I get excited about it because we just talk about it daily of how we're going to like execute this packaging and really tie it all together. So that's something that we're working on right now is our new packaging design.
Well, that sounds incredible because what you do, you don't do lightly. Like what you've been doing for 5 years is already so impressive. I can't even imagine what you have in the works. Please keep us posted because we would love to place an order and open it live on the pod, because we're all about experiential moments, right? We love packaging. We
I
love
don't want
both.
to make you cry again. Yeah. We don't want to make you cry again.
Oh, yeah. Well, I cry a lot. I'm a Red Wings fan.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, this was too much fun. I'm fortunate to say, we will have you on again for part
Absolutely.
2 of this conversation, where we'll talk a little bit more about all the trends in goaltending happening right now. And as you alluded to, Zach, there's a lot of changing in the world of goaltending. So I will keep our listeners posted on social media. Megan will keep our edits looking fresh and beautiful. And stay tuned, and we'll let you know the episode numbers. So thank you guys both.
Perfect. Thank you.
Wait, where can our listeners find you? Sorry. Where should they find you? Your website?
Secondstringleather.com. And we also have all social media handles, Second String Leather.
Mm-hmm.
So. Okay. Very important. Thank you. All right. We'll see you guys later. Thanks.
Thank you.
See ya.
See ya.
Welcome to the third period, where I hope you will enjoy a little bit more second string talk, because there's just so much to talk about. And it was so wonderful to get to chat with them about things. But yeah, I mean, where do we go from here? It's so much.
You know Joe and Zach. I just got to meet them, and I'm so excited. Like their energy and enthusiasm for the game, for goaltending, for their product, for their company. It's infectious. And now I want to order more. Oh, no, that was great.
Yeah.
And I think their advice to us too, with our podcast was really cool.
For sure.
So what a great company to support. Obviously, really good people. But if you're looking for a gift.
Oh, yeah. And I loved their descriptions of like people like waiting for the launch, because I most certainly have been that person, especially when it came to the Jimmy Howard iceberg that I showed. That was for sure one that I was like waiting and refreshing, and I got to get a piece. And yeah, that was a big one for me. So, and that,
you know what that was for me, Megan?
Yeah, for sure.
Joseph Wall.
It's definitely fun to browse their website and see what's there and get an idea for what things look like and how things are put together. And then, you'll probably even find a piece you want now, but then get excited for the next launch, because, it kind of happens like that. Like they do those very fun introductions of each product that's coming, each, the pads, or whether a glove or blocker. And then that launch is so fun. It's a great time. And you got to be quick. And
summer will be here before you know it. Spring only launched a couple weeks ago, so there's still a lot of really cool pieces. So check that out. Eddie Belfour, Eddie the Eagle, some wallets still there. Yeah. A little on the higher end of the spectrum, as you can imagine, from a price standpoint, but there's really something for everybody. So which brings us to the style tip.
Yeah, I think we kind of already gave it, but yeah,
go to Second String. What are you waiting for? Yes. But Megan has a really cute way to style your second string. When you start collecting, when you get a few pieces, you have a sort of a travel set that you've customized, right?
I do. Like we didn't touch on this variety of product, but I do actually have a passport wallet, and this is the inside of it. And then
for those on audio only, it is signed by Billy Huso. It's beautiful.
He kindly did that for me. And then like the tiny version. So I have a passport wallet and a matching wallet. And that was really fun to bring to Sweden when I went to watch her Global Series games. I was just running around with goalie wallets everywhere.
Look at you, a little jet setter. So even if you're not on a fabulous trip to Northern Europe, certainly you can look stylish with your Second String Leather Company goods.
Absolutely. It has traveled to Canada across the border many times.
There you go. So check them out and leave us a comment either under the podcast, wherever you're listening, or on Instagram at Hockey Style Podcast, and let us know what pieces you end up with, or what you like, or what you hope to see.
Yeah. See you next time.
Like, follow, subscribe. Thanks. Bye.